All right. Andrés Ordóñez and Ken Bates, special guests here. Welcome to the Breaking and Entering Advertising podcast. This is our edition. This is where we are kicking off the brand new Crowbar Awards brief. And we'll talk about the brand. We're going to introduce AO as our guest judge here, who's been on the show in the past. And at the end, if you stay around here, you're watching or listening on your phone, AO is going to talk about some advice and like how do you approach advertising briefs, these creative briefs in general, and maybe some flair on what you're looking for as the judge. How does that sound to you guys?
Sounds
amazing.
Great.
Let's do it.
Rock and roll. So we'll start with you, AO. You are the global chief creative officer at FCB, and that's a big deal. We only bring on the best of the best to judge the Crowbar Awards, and you are the best of the best. So thank you so much for taking the time. Over the next 3 months, people are going to be submitting their best campaigns, and you're going to be judging it. So introduce yourselves to the folks that are just starting on this industry that might not know you yet. Talk about who you are and what you're up to today.
All right. Thanks, Eugenio. Hello, everyone. My name is Andrés Ordóñez, Global CCO at FCB. And nothing, I'm here. I got invited to the Crowbar to just give you a nice brief to do some good work. I think it's going to be super interesting because it's a category that it's full of the sameness. So to break from there is going to be hard. We had 3 different categories that Gino gave us an option, but we wanted to bring one that it was like, just push it a little bit because I feel that creativity is a muscle. So we're going to work out that muscle as far as we can on this one.
That's right. And then we got to introduce Ken. So Ken has been a part of the program for a couple of years now, friend of the program, copywriter of our program here. And he is just so helpful when it comes to writing briefs, reviewing portfolios. He knows this industry so well, AO, and he works at FCB as a copywriter, senior copywriter, correct, Ken?
Yeah.
Fantastic. So it's all in the family here. So Ken, you helped write the brief. So when we go over the brief, you can probably walk us through it because I'm not as much of an expert. I'm very transparent with our listeners. I don't touch the brief very much, and we certainly don't judge the Crowbar Awards. That's up to AO. He'll be looking through all of the campaigns himself, and he'll be selecting the top 4 campaigns. Real quick housekeeping. In the next 3 months, you'll be working on it. If you're listening to this, you could have teams of up to 3 people. I would go art director, copywriter, strategist, but it doesn't have to be, but maximum 3. And then the best in show gets to talk on this podcast with AO, one-on-one group with AO. AO, you're going to give feedback. You're going to help them network. Maybe you'll give them a job or an internship. Who knows? But that's the grand prize, as well as a physical blue crowbar, so they can come knocking on the agency. It's heavy. It's heavy stuff.
I wish I had one. Do I get one?
You're going to get one.
All right, I'll get one.
We'll get one. I'll drop it off next week.
There you go. Let's do it.
It's the best award in all of advertising. Screw a lion. Just kidding. But pencil. I'm just saying, a crowbar can break a pencil. I'm just putting that out there. That's my words, not AO's. So enough about the run of show. Enough about the basics here. Let's get into why people are logging in. The brief. So what is the brand, Ken? Let's talk about it. And then you guys go through it and let's take our time here.
Yeah. So it's exciting. So we're doing Ohio tourism, but more specifically getting people to move to Ohio, right? So it's kind of not like tourism. It's just move there, right? Which is really great. It's increasing economies. And a huge shout out, obviously, to Molly, our CSO for the Chicago office. She helped us a lot with this as well. Very grateful that she helped us with this. Right. So kind of the background for this is that Ohio, everyone thinks of it as a flyover state, but in reality, it's actually very affordable, very opportunity rich, and very experience packed. Right. A lot of actually major cities there within it. There's 4 major ones that people can move to. And so there's large quality of life. And it's kind of maybe the best kept secret for those who are seeking a dynamic place to live, work, and explore, which is really cool. And then so if you go through that, you think the people who want to move there maybe are kind of just millennials and Gen Zs, targeting them, people who are seeking that higher quality life and financial freedom, remote workers, entrepreneurs. There's a lot of new businesses that are already moving to the Ohio area. families of young couples, right? People who want to go there and settle down without sacrificing these experiences. Yeah. And I think it's like really great, right? It's affordable. Like we said, this job market, it's a cost of living that's lower than like 20 to 40% of most other places. So that's great. A lot of outdoor scene, et cetera, et cetera.
So move to
right?
Ohio.
It's really great.
So
Yeah, get people to move to Ohio. And our one line of the brief, this is how, I don't know how AO works, but I know I work this way where it's like, what is the one line I'm going to keep going back to in the brief? And I'm just going to continuously ideate off of that. Ohio is the place where you can thrive professionally, live affordably, and explore freely. It's not just a place to visit. It's a place to build your future. So basically then just make a blown out campaign like that that's very disruptive, something maybe we've never seen before, blow AO's mind, which is hard to do.
So AO, when you see a brief like this, like how do you get people excited? Like what do you how do you launch this? You got
I mean, you're gonna get an award. What else? No, I'm kidding. But honestly, I feel like there's these kind of briefs that you see them and there's 1,000 things you can do with it and they're beautiful. But there's other ones that are hard. And I think, like I said at the beginning of this, the tourism category is hard. Like actually, I always when I'm gonna start something, I say like, all right, let's bring everything that exists on the category, and if you can flip the logos or the names in the case of the maybe states or whatever, we have a problem. And I think it happens a lot more than we think. There's just a very few campaigns in the history. And I know Ken loves advertising as much as I do, but when you think about the Swiss number, that one at Cannes, you start thinking about these little one campaigns that they did a flip. It was just a phone number, but look at the impact that it had. So I think we're trying to figure out a way to get people to dial that number, to find more. I always say like you get up in the morning and you get that little post and either you love it or you share it. And I think in this case, you need to share it. The question is, how are you going to move out from wherever you are? Think about it. Make it personal. What would it take to convince you to move to Ohio? Because the closer you make it to that, it could be super interesting. Where are you in this lifetime? Maybe you're still with your parents. Maybe not. Like 20 to 40% less. And see, I still have all the things that I love in one place. That's kind of awesome. Good industry. It looks like a very developed. Actually, I was going through the brief. Ken sent me a few different versions of this, and I was like, "This is cool. Ohio's pretty cool." I never. I'm sorry, Ohio. Love the people from Ohio. Lots of Ohio people in our agency, but I never thought about Ohio honestly. And this brief, when I was going through it and getting to know a little bit more of the data points, I was like, "Wow, this is super interesting." So huge challenge, but I think that's the beauty of this one, that it's a hard one.
You mentioned looking at the category and like what's been done really well in the past. You mentioned what was the benchmark that you mentioned just now, so people can hear that again.
The Swiss number, and I think we'll leave the case study so you guys can see it if you haven't.
Yeah,
it was, I believe, 2015.
Gotcha. I like that route there.
My knowledge is not that good. I can put years to stuff. Yeah.
Hey, page 62 book. No.
So we got to get people to want to move. And what's the demographic?
That goes back to you, Ken.
Gen Z and millennials, right? And so ages 25 to 40, those are looking for a high quality lifestyle and financial freedom, right? So that aspirationalness of you want more for yourself. Remote workers, entrepreneurs, family, young couples, right? Maybe it's travelers, maybe it's former Ohioans who want to move back.
That reminds me of that Street Easy campaign that just came out.
Yeah, that was good.
Yeah. 2016.
Yeah, and I think
2016. The Swedish number.
I think, I love that you brought up the Swiss number. That's like one of my favorite things, right? Because it's so simple, it's so humanly true, and that they just like made it the most creative thing they could, right? But it's like, would you prefer, or are you looking to see more of like a blown out 360 campaign, or do you want to see something that is just going to garner the most attention you think?
I think sometimes one small thing, one little number can get you to do so many other things. Sometimes you need a totality of things. I think the beauty of from what I understand from this award show, is that we're not centered on one category, one thing. Is to just see which is the angle that I'd rather go first really wide and then say like, oh, there's something beautiful here, and then go deeper into that. So it's kind of what we do in the agency. So
yeah.
And I don't know, Gina, if we're going to be able to do that, if just people submit their final one, or maybe they submit a little something that we can give them a little bit of there's some heat around this area and then have them come back maybe to the finalist. Could be a nice way.
Interesting. Ken, is that something we can do, you think?
Yeah, of course.
Okay, so how would you approach that then?
I think if we go down to the top 10, and then if there's 10, that's the question that we always have. We're always looking for one. So, but we can get a few finalists, and then we can say and give them some notes like, hey, have you thought about this? We can help with Ken put some references and things and push.
I love that.
Or if it already exists, say like, listen, scratch that. This already exists. It's a little bit of the exercise of getting to a new, fresh, great idea. So we can help there, but then after that, you're on your own, and you gotta close it.
Interesting.
It's also tapping into that never finished mindset that we have. Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's brand ourselves out there. Yeah. No, that's great. I like that a lot. That's fun.
Yeah. We'll definitely explore that. And then, so AO, then, like, I don't know, when a brief like this like crosses the desk, like what's the next step? Like for teams of 3, what should they do next after
last night we were with Ken at an event and people were making fun of a process that I have because I am very analog. I try not to touch the computer for a few days because with every tool that we have on there, there you go. It's easy to start putting things together, do a few prompts, and something looks beautiful, but then it lacks an idea. So going back to paper, writing, putting headlines, just writing drawings, whatever it is, and putting a wall together, you can start finding nuggets of things versus trying to create that one piece. So if I could say, try it for the first week or 2, whatever time you're going to put into this, go analog, get a book, go for coffee, walk around, look at your own life, look at other lives. I'm sure you have a friend from Ohio. Call him. Just like let it sink in a little bit and try to come with solutions right away until it comes.
Yeah. I probably would go right to ChatGPT, and that's my problem. That's why I'm not a creative. Okay. That's why I wouldn't be good. I would say, give me 100 ideas for this, and they'd probably all be bad.
AI is useful, just not like at that early stage, I think. Yeah.
Oh, we should have a show about that. Yeah. I do think that whatever you ask, and maybe I'm wrong, it's based on things that already exist. So it's going to give you an idea of something that already exists. The mix of ideas. So is it fresh? I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
You got to be the machine, my friends.
Somebody asked on, it was actually a lecturer at a university because they assign this for their class sometimes. And she asked, how do we win this thing? I go, well, tell me about the process. And they spent weeks and weeks and weeks on research, and then a little bit on the idea, and then a lot of time on execution. And I think that needs to be flipped. Would you agree that the idea is probably
actually listen, and not to go too deep into AI because I love AI, but I do think what AI has given us is time to do creativity and to hunt for the idea. Building it's so much faster and easier. So you just gain more time to really think about the idea behind the work and then go and start building it. So put that first. If you don't have an idea, you don't have anything.
I know for myself, it's always like, how fast can we get stupid, right? Yeah. Because stupid gets smart, right? And then how many ideas can I come up with, right? It's like, can I do 50? Can I have 100? Depends on the briefing process and what the brief is. Sometimes we don't have time. But like, can we get to 50 or 100 ideas? That's great. There's going to be maybe like 1 or 2 good ones in there that are worthwhile.
Yeah, and we're very analytical to our own selves. So don't be so hard on yourself. Just write it and put it on the wall and forget about it and then go back to it. Because sometimes like, oh no, that sucks. Well, maybe not. Maybe that is the one. There is something, a word there that can be so much bigger than that.
Yeah. If you look at like the longest standing campaigns of all time, Just Do It and Got Milk, right? Like Got Milk is grammatically incorrect and maybe doesn't make sense, but it does, and it's powerful and it sits with us. And Just Do It is something someone said before they were dying, right? And and it's just like guttural, right? It just works.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I don't know. Can you tell me, and AO, you tell me, if I was going for this brief, I'd probably look into your background, AO, and see some of the work you've done to get some inspiration there. See your style too, and try to play the game a little bit. But because you got some good stuff there.
I think if I go through the old and the new, I think there's a little bit of the old of give extra, get extra. So Look at that category of gum. Super hard. Everyone's doing the same sea of same flavors, same long lasting. And then when we look deeper, we realize, that moment when you're on a bus, on a train or whatever, and someone pulls a pack of gum and you kind of like look at it, gum is a connector. Gum is an incredible connector. And we said, what is in here about connections? Give extra, get extra. So if you start thinking about like that, it's like, what is the one thing that no one's saying that it's sitting in front of you? And I think that's kind of a little bit of those things. So boards of change for the city of Chicago. We're down on people voting, but people could go outside and do all these graffitis about how they felt. But the minute they had to go and vote, they wouldn't vote. Well, let's turn those walls or those into voting booth and remind them that if you want to change, you have to vote. So it's again, how do we flip the story? How do we feel? What is the thing that it's missing, that it's in front of us, and we're not doing anything about it?
Love it. And so any sort of activation, we don't have any parameters around what we're expecting. Is that correct?
Correct.
No. Gotcha. What do you think?
It could be anything.
Just break through. Yeah, just break through the category, right? Like I think I was talking about this with some people who I sit by, and it's like, yeah, no, like everything since Pure Michigan is kind of the same, right? Which was good at the time, but now then there was like a Nebraska campaign someone was talking about that was like really good, that was different. I don't remember exactly, but Taylor Cunningham and Nihal know it. But yeah, just like it's. I think back to what AO was saying, it is helpful to like learn the category and understand it to know what not to do. But sometimes you get too down and you start thinking the same things over and over and over and over. So like that is getting back to like pen and paper when you can is like super useful.
Yeah. So we'll try to play with it. Look at every single angle that you can. We didn't know that Dramamine was born the same year as barf bags. But guess what? 75 years old and we're selling more than they are selling barf bags. We had to do something about it. You just gotta go and look for that thing that is sitting in there. So I'm sure there's many, many things about Ohio and many, many things that they haven't said. And again, that was a document. I just gave you a documentary, a film, and an activation. 3 different approaches that we took to 3 different briefs.
Yep.
But it's not about the how, but the one that is gonna get you there and faster and will work. So there's radio campaigns that they've been incredible and just been by being radio. So the real men of genius.
Yeah.
So
right. I mean, you can even look at like the simplest thing. What was it? The New Zealand agency that did the out-of-home ads that were became radio ads, right? That like was like 2 years ago.
Yeah.
That was so good. It's like, how has no one ever done this before? It's just like 2 simple things that were so great. And it's like, yeah, there's so many things we don't know haven't been done in advertising.
I was in a jury room the other day. I can't talk more about it, but we're talking about the British Airways new campaign. And a brand that it was meant to, like, the feeling of being old and everything. And look how the feeling that just an outdoor make people feel, and so simple and a beautiful art, like simple art direction. So
yeah,
it could be anything. It could be anything.
Yeah, love it.
Wonderful. Any other advice, AO? Anything that you wish you would have known when you were first starting out? Maybe you go back in time. Young AO is working on his first ad campaign. What would you have told him?
I think embrace the wall. I think that is the one thing that the time can go by and technology can keep being better and stronger. But at the end of the day, going to paper on the wall and putting it out there and let it sit and go for coffee or drinks or whatever it is and come back and get back to it. It helps so much, because if you put it on a file, the idea disappear. It's incredible.
Gone.
I always think about the COVID time, so that we will do Zooms or whatever and flip in an hour. I'm sure there's so many beautiful ideas out there that they got COVID. So yeah. I just want to make sure, like, don't let your ideas you never know. There's always the one little thing. You're not looking for the one, you're looking for nuggets, and then you'll start connecting on something bigger.
So you recommend physically putting it on a wall?
I literally do that. That's how I was trained too. So
That's
so.
I haven't done that. I've never done that.
Oh,
and
there's walls all over our office covered in slides. Yeah.
Yeah. I used to have to hang them up, my old job. but I never like for my own business now. It's probably a good idea that I got some wall space. Not much in this city. Maybe I should go to a city where I can have more wall space in Ohio.
I know. But you know what it is with the walls too? Like sometimes we are so much into the work that we can't see things. And there's always someone completely at random that passes by like, oh, what is this? And then that could be the one. And it happens a lot. Or just by letting it be there for the weekend and then come back to it another time. It's incredible what you find with time. Even if you have friends over at your house and you're telling, oh, I'm working for this show and they have this brief and everything, and I've been thinking about this. That little talk can give you so many other things. So let the wall be there for a little bit.
Yeah.
And they look cool too and beautiful. Just ideas sitting there.
Do you what stage do you put it on the wall? Like you comp it up with like AI of some sort? Like it could be hand drawn. What's the process there?
Paper and pen.
Yeah, marker comes, just draw like a stick figures probably if you want to get drawing on something, but it's all about the idea, the first part, right? Like
I had my teacher that, and I mean, a lot of us been trained like that. If you can sell an idea with stick figures, you have something big. Mm-hmm. And it's true. You don't need to, if you need to comp it up and you might be missing something.
Yeah. Yeah. So and the last one that I got top of mind, maybe more will come, but they're going to be working in groups. They might be working in groups for the first time with an art director and copywriter and perhaps a strategist as well. What advice do you have for them working together, whether it's remote or in person, to stick together? First time working in a group, what advice do you have for them, AO?
I think have calls. Hopefully you guys can meet in person and just go at it. Don't try to just focus on that thing because I think it's going to be too much. I think sometimes, and Ken, right, we sit and we talk about the project for a little bit and we talk about the party from last night. And then we go back to the project and then we go for coffee. So just try, because chemistry in the room, I always say when you have people that they connect, the ideas become stronger. If there's no connection, it's harder to find them because it creates a little bit of a silo energy. I don't know. So try to spend as much time together and talk these things through. And again, write it. Just write it. If you're an art director and you want to start creating a wall design, just a grid of imagery, what maybe Ohio can be now, do it. If you're a writer, write 1,000 headlines or 100 headlines.
We got 3 months.
In the ad school, it will be that. And then and strategy. What else? What is the thing that we're not seeing right now? We just gave you 30,000 feet of what we see out of Ohio. Now we just gotta land it, and I think that's what. Okay.
No, like I don't know, Gino. Like, is Ohio University? I forget some of the universities that we work with. Like, they'll know more than everyone, man. They got that leg up, so they should come in strong. Or just anyone who's from Ohio that's like Indiana or Michigan, right? Like you got that leg up. You live there. You grew up there. You know more than everyone else.
A lot of good creative out of our head of copy. He's out of Ohio.
Oh, is that where FCB's from? Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
He's very smart.
Interesting. I would show up there. I'd book a quick flight, take a weekend.
Yeah, I heard you're taking us all to review the work there.
Yeah. Let's go. We got a nice.
That's where Ken is this year. It's in Ohio. Yeah.
Ohio.
That's so funny. All right, gentlemen. Well, this is great. Then, AO, we'll see you in 3 months. You'll get all the submissions and you'll look through them. You'll tell us your top 4. And
and honestly, think about it. Gino, if you want, Ken and I, we can maybe in a month and a half jump in and have a little tissue or maybe a call with everyone just to bounce ideas or little thing. We're more than happy to do it.
I like that. It's never crossed my mind. So let's keep that.
We can do it. Have a session.
Cut it in half. And that's fun.
Or we can do like a huge brainstorm, which will be amazing. Everyone is asking questions and we'll just be together.
Yeah.
Let's laugh a little bit, have fun, and go back to the work.
Okay. Maybe we'll do that in Ohio.
Wherever you want.
All right. Well, gentlemen,
all right.
Thank you so much. AO,
Thank
appreciate
you.
you.
Thanks. Take care.
Bye.